So my name is Felicity and I am from the University for the Creative Arts in the UK. Natasha and Maria, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Thanks, Felicity. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maria Quero and I represent the Arts University Bournemouth, also in the UK.
Morning, everyone. My name is Natasha. I am the representative for Birmingham City University. Nice to see so many of you here very early for us in the UK this morning.
Yes, the time differences are going to kill us. Okay, all right, fabulous. So we do just have us three in here today. Then obviously there's going to be lots of other university portfolio sessions throughout the week with different institutions. And then each institution has its own session, so you'll be able to pop into those to see which ones you are really interested in studying with. Okay, all right, so first thing is going to be UCA. So we are the University for the Creative Arts. Now UCA is the second largest specialist art and design institution in Europe. We have a history going back to 1850, so this incredible long history with all these links and connections to industry, which is wonderful for students. And then we have, we are considered to be the highest ranking, or considered to be, on the Times League table, the Guardian League table, and the Complete University Guide. We are the highest ranked specialist art and design university. Now on the overall rankings we tend to come somewhere in the middle, but that's because we're not a very big research university and often those league tables are very research focused. We are very well known for the quality of our teaching. We are TEF Gold. We've been in the top 10 for teaching several years in a row. And if you asked me what the best thing about UCA was, I really would say it is our academics' commitment to their students. They are so passionate about their students and making sure that they get the absolute right thing for them. We have 4 campuses because we used to be 2 different art colleges in Surrey and Kent, and then we joined in 2004 to become a university. Should be by this year, we should have 20% of our population should come from outside the UK, so our international students, and we're about 7,500 students in total. We have 91 different nationalities on campus. We have nearly 100, in fact we have, this is slightly outdated, but we have over 100 different courses that you can do at UCA. So if there's something art and design that you can think of, we do it, and then we probably do 6 different versions of it and a few ways of studying it that you've never heard of before. We also have the Business School for the Creative Industries. So our Business School for the Creative Industries is obviously a traditional business school, but focused on creative students. So fashion management and marketing, event and music management and marketing. And we really want to push even our traditional business and our traditional marketing students to be creative in their thinking. And it means that you guys have a great opportunities for employment after you graduate. Okay, all right, I am going to hand over to Birmingham City.
Hi again, everyone. Thank you very much. So Birmingham City University is in the second largest city in the UK, Birmingham, right in the centre of England. So great accessibility to other cities if you're interested in travelling around. In Birmingham City Centre, we have different campuses. So we have our main campus, which you can see on the screen there, which is home to most of our courses, including our main arts, design and media school. We also have 2 other smaller buildings for arts, design and media, which is our jewellery school and our arts school, which are much, much older buildings. They date back to the mid 1800s. They're about 180 years old now. This slide is also a little bit outdated. So we have lots and lots of history of providing arts education to students in and around Birmingham, and also obviously international students. Within our art, design and media faculty, we have 9 different schools. which you can see at the bottom of the slide there, covering subjects from architecture through fashion, visual communications, through to television, film, radio, media, and traditional art subjects. So like Felicity said, you can pretty much normally find any course that you are looking for at BCU, whether it's undergraduate level or even if you're thinking about going on to master's courses. We have over 100 programs for you to choose from. In terms of our courses, we really focus on those practical skills and employability, which is really, really important for us. We have a very high employment rate at BCU, and that is because our students have access to incredible facilities when they're studying. Our academics work very, very closely with our students to make sure they are prepped for getting a job once they graduate, meaning that we work very closely with companies, lots of big companies around the world who support us and our students, focusing on project work and developing those skills that students need to go through interviews and get jobs. So it's a really exciting place to study, lots of opportunity, and hopefully you'll find out more about us in the rest of our sessions for the rest of the week. But I will pass you over to Maria now at AUB.
Thank you, Natasha. Hi, everybody. So my name is Maria from the Arts University. I think Felicity will pass to see the slide now in a second.
Oh, sorry.
With the university, so you can see some more information about us. So Arts University Bournemouth is also a specialist institution. And basically that means that all of the undergraduate, master's, foundation programs that we offer at the university are studies related to art, design, media, and performance. So very focused, very niche in what we do. We are a creative community, and that's what we do best. It's amazing to have a campus where you have over 20 different undergraduate programs, and you have students studying film, costume, makeup for film and television, and they are actually working together in collaboration exactly in the same way that the creative industries do. And this is something that we do extremely well at the Arts University Bournemouth. We mirror the work within the creative industry across all of our undergraduate programs. So what we're trying to do is for you guys to get that experience and develop your skills exactly in the same way that the creative industries are going to expect you to work and to do when you go to the workforce, when you go yourself and get yourself a job. We've been established for quite some time, so we're not a very new university, over 130 years now. But as you can see in the photographs, we are a very modern, state-of-the-art campus. We have only one campus, and we have amazing workshops and facilities for students with all the latest equipment. The photograph that you can see there of that blue building is actually our drawing studio, an extremely impressive building for all the students from different courses to use. And it's actually the first drawing studio that has been built in the whole of the UK in the last 100 years. So a great testimony of how the university embraced drawing as the art that go through a lot of our degrees. And just to give you a bit of rankings, because I know, guys, you like those ones. Arts University Bournemouth is the UK top specialist art and design university in the Good University Guide for 2021, so just this year. And we also #1 specialist university for employability by the Times Higher Education in 2018. Employability, as you can see, is what we are all about. The main thing for you guys is to get a job when you graduate. We have an extremely involved career service in our universities to help our students from day one up to the point of graduation to go through things that you need a part of getting your degree, which are like preparing yourself for interviews, networking. So a lot of the work is done across the 3 years of your degrees with us. And we have a lot of different services available for you to support you on that, from career services, student services. We have a great, amazing student union that organize a lot of things for you guys to get involved on things that you are interested interested into like climate change or sustainability, you know, a lot of different things and a lot of things are going on in the campus. And Bournemouth, it's a beautiful location. We are based in the southwest coast of England. So it's a touristic resort. We are by the sea. You will see always surfers and people going to do water sports around the area. So very beautiful location to be, very nice place, very inspiring place really in the United Kingdom. But we are also in a very great location to move around. We are less than 2 hours away from London, so you guys can move around really easy and visit some of the major cities and enjoy your time here in the UK as well. And I think that's it for me. I think we're going to start with the presentation now. So Felicity is going to take over to continue talking about portfolios.
Fab, thank you. Okay, so this is obviously going to be quite a generalized discussion about portfolios. Remember, each university isn't going to have a checklist of things that you guys need to send to us. Each university is going to be different and there is going to be a lot of flexibility. So it's always going to be really important to check each university as you go through this process. Now, your portfolio is you. Your portfolio is a representation of you and your artistic ability. It is very important that when you create your portfolio, you do not compare yourself to the people around you. Each university and each student and each course and each school is different. We want to see who you are as an individual, not influenced by others or not trying to copy what others do. So please don't stress yourself if Bob next to you has done a much better portfolio, because it might not be better, it might just be different. So remember, you are the main focus of this. Now we want to see your creative journey. So how have you grown as an artist? What is your thought process and what are your influences? So again, all about you. We want you to be bold and appeal to the viewer. You need to hold their attention and show your potential. Humans make a decision on whether they like someone by the look of them within about the first 30 seconds. So academics are generally going to make a decision on your portfolio very, very early on. So it's really important that you make a good impression from the beginning. Put your strongest work at the beginning. Now, portfolio requirements, as I said, every university and every course is going to be different. Speak to those institutions. As I said, there's not going to be a checklist, but they can give you a rough guide, and that's what we're doing today. So look on those university websites, speak to the institutions, tailor your portfolio to the courses that you want to do. And remember that you might be required to submit it either digitally or physically or show it at an interview. Again, each university is different. The portfolio itself is usually going to be 16 to 20 pages. Sorry, that shouldn't be pieces, that should be pages. Should be 16 to 20 pages of work. Now, those pages can represent multiple pieces of work, or it can have a single piece of work on them. Depends how you want to present that. And the presentation is part of a good portfolio. Now, those 16 to 20 pages usually represent 5 to 6 projects. Project work is very important when you're applying for undergraduate level study, because we want to see your ability to think about a project, to show your influences, and to show us the beginning, middle, and end. Edit down your pieces. As I said, the academics are going to make those decisions about you very quickly. So make sure that you put your best work first and don't send us a portfolio with 50 pages. They're not going to get through it. Consider the order that you show it in. Think about your presentation and be prepared to talk about it. It's very frustrating when you hear an academic interviewing someone about their portfolio and you know, they ask, why have you done this? How have you done this? And the students don't say anything more than, my teacher told me to. Why have they told you to do it? Why have they asked you to do it? Think around those questions and think about why you've produced the work that you have. Show us your creative journey. This is what separates an undergraduate portfolio from a foundation portfolio, is your ability to show us your processes and your project and your growth. So you want to show us your initial ideas. So why did you start this? How did you start this? What were your influences? What are your mood boards? What are your creative thinking boards? So that's your primary research. Your development. Development can be sketchbooks. It can be playing around with different digital mediums. And we love to see your stages of your work. We don't just want to see final complete work. We want to see that development. And we love to see when you make a mess and then grow from it, because it shows us that you're growing as an artist. Give us a bit of contextualization. So how are you putting all your pieces together? And then what is the final outcome? And how are you going to present that final outcome to us? And it is cliche to say it, but some say the journey is more important than the final outcome. And I do believe that's very true. So creating the right portfolio for your course. So I'll just do this foundation and then undergraduate level, and then I will hand over to one of my colleagues. So for further education and foundation, so foundation level portfolio is generally going to be a much more mixed portfolio. And foundation level portfolio is going to show us all the different things that you're interested in, lots of sketch work, information. It's going to give us a real range of things that you want to do. So put a lot of different work in. You don't necessarily need projects in a foundation portfolio, but if you have them, that's great. Or if you're really passionate about one thing, that's great, send it in. Lots of photos, and as I said, a variety. Undergraduate level is 70% focused on your course. That's the big difference. 70% focused on your course, and it's project focused. So you show us that progression of your work. We want to see your capability and your understanding of your chosen area. So your different mediums and different materials and different methods and approaches, and a mix of different kinds of work as well. Drawing is always going to be really important in a portfolio. Sorry, drawing can be anything, is usually going to come from your sketchbooks, which we love. We love your sketchbooks, and I'm going to talk about those more in just a second. But yeah, please do include as many sketchbooks as you can. And digital work. So digital work can come in a variety of different mediums, but always make sure that you have working links when you send these things on. Maria and Natasha, you guys want to take over?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Felicity.
Thank you.
So another thing to add there on the digital work before Felicity moves the slide over is to, as she say, very important that the links work, but also trying to keep it as simple as possible with your digital work. Don't try to overcomplicate things by adding, for example, passwords to your to the access of your work, because remember, sometimes when you send your portfolios, it's not going to be seen just for one member of the staff. That portfolio may be passing over to different people to look at it. So be sure that you keep it very simple. Don't use passwords, things that will overcomplicate the opening of the file, or, the opening of the access to that digital work. So if we go into the next slide now, we are going to also cover a little bit more, sketchbooks. Felicity covered quite a bit of this already. Basically, the sketchbook, we got that question from a lot of students. Do I need to put my sketchbooks in my portfolio? What exactly is a sketchbook? What do you use it for? And a sketchbook is nothing else that, the personal, the raw work that you've been doing on your practice. So it's where you got the opportunity to mess with things, to play around with things, to have ideas and put them without worrying about a final product, a final piece. It's more about experimentation. It's about putting things together, playing with colors, with textures, play with collage, for example. It's about all of that as an artist. And why is important for us to see the sketchbook is because it gives us a good idea. It demonstrates the way that you experiment with your work. So as you can imagine, for us, and something that Felicity said, that it's totally right. It's not about the final outcome. It's about the journey. We wanted to see that journey on how you experiment with things, because for us it's very important to see the way that you put ideas together, how you develop those ideas from the beginning to the end. So from the moment you have the idea to the moment that you have your final piece of artwork, how do you come across, how do you work through that idea? And your creative thinking, how creative you are on your thinking. And the sketchbook is amazing to show us all of that journey. That's why it's very important for us to see. Now, on the next slides, excuse me, what we're going to do is we are going to cover a little bit of what is really relevant on some specific portfolios. So until now, we have covered general things that we need to see in portfolios, in any type of portfolios. But as you well know, if you are about to apply for any university, for example, for a film course or architecture course, that university will have a specific portfolio guidance of what they wanted to see on that portfolio for film or for architecture. So what we're trying to do in the next slides is we're trying to give you a bit of a summary of what most universities will ask for those specific courses. However, very, very super important, guys, that you actually, whatever university you are considering to apply, before you submit your portfolio to that university, is that you check their specific guidelines, because it can be slightly different. So you may have a very similar portfolio for UCAM, for AUB, but maybe one of us is asking you for something slightly different. So it's very important that you check that. So when the course leaders actually check your portfolio, they can see you taking an interest to see the guidelines and you follow those ones through. So for those of you that are interested in film, television portfolios, there are several things that are going to be very generic to all of the universities, or most universities. Storyboards, super important. We wanted to see some samples of storyboards you done. We wanted to see some screenplays if you got some, scripts if you have written some of those ones. We wanted to see those as well. Trying to throw in your portfolio everything that is related to that film course that you are trying to apply that could be relevant for us to look at. Obviously, as we mentioned before, trying to select your best pieces of work, because they're going to make a decision quite quickly on your portfolio. It's very competitive. There is going to be a lot of other students competing to get a place on those courses, especially film, television, very, very popular courses in the UK. So be sure that you select your best work as well. And any original pieces. So if you work in any film, in any animation, any recording you done in school, perhaps, anything that you got, maybe you got some stuff already online in YouTube or in Vimeo or in your personal website. Be sure that you mention those ones and you put those ones as part of your portfolio, because everything adds up. You know, any multimedia work that you have, and also is very important. Sometimes the students may focus only on putting final pieces of work or final, films or animations, and they forgot about the written work. And that is also very important in film and television portfolios. We need to see that you have gone through some research, that you have look into your interests and how you develop those interests into your final piece by doing research, by understanding the work of others. If you are inspired by another producer or another director, how that inspired your work and how that research is showing through your pieces of work. So don't forget to add any written work that you got about your pieces, because that's something that they also wanted to see. And of course, if you have other elements of working in film or television, so you may be maybe involved on some projects to do with set design, for example, in your school, or costume design. So anything that you done that is a way of collaboration into any project, that's always good to see. We don't expect you to have much of it. You know, that's why you come into university, to have that collaboration experience and everything else. But anything that you got, because you guys do a lot of work, amazing work in your current schools, and you may be doing some projects through collaboration and you don't even notice. So it's actually really good to also put it as a part of your portfolios. Any character profile, and obviously any journals, any notebooks, you know. As an artist, if you have your little notebooks where you write your notes, your ideas, and you develop those as kind of a sketchbook we were talking about early, you can add those ones as well. Maybe you don't want to put in there the whole notebook, but maybe take some pictures, some of the pages that give an idea of your journey. That will be really good. So the next one we're going to see now is fashion and textiles portfolios. Again, the same, those are very generic to textiles and textiles and fashion portfolios in most universities, but always check specific websites for guidelines. Figure drawings and informative flat drawings are very important in fashion and textiles portfolios. We wanted to see the way that you express and showcase your drawings. If you have any original sewing that you done, any textile or fashion projects that you work in a school, a lot of you guys, if you are in different programs all around the world, from A-levels to IBs, you probably have worked on some textiles or fashion projects at some point. So anything that you don't like, that is good that you add them into your portfolio. Also the studies that you done on things like color, for example, in materials investigation. So again, part of your research, you know, how you experiment with colors and materials and textiles and all of that is also relevant. And that can be part of your sketchbooks development, you know, what you have worked through your sketchbooks. Design development and construction, if you have anything like that, will be very good as well. And critiques of yourself and others. It's also very important that you have a critique view about fashion and textiles in general, and you are able to make a critique of yourself. You know, it's not always a critique, it's constructive criticism, and that's really good because you learn from it. So don't worry about being criticized by others of your work. Take it as a great opportunity to learn from that and improve. We all do mistakes. Nobody is perfect. No work will be perfect on the first go, guys. So don't worry about being having a criticism from others, and don't hesitate to show your critique about others' works as well, because that shows that you are a thinker, a creative thinker, and you are able to analyze a work that another artist have done and come out with your own ideas and your own comments about that work. And that is fantastic and something we wanted to see on your portfolios. So the next one we are going to cover is a fine art portfolio. So obviously for fine art, loads of things can be taking place into a portfolio for fine arts. But the first thing of all is for you to demonstrate your creative and your independent thinking. We wanted to see that you're really creative when you're thinking, you really think outside the box, and you show also an awareness of the contemporary practice, and you have, again, I just mentioned, those critical debates about things and about artwork. You need to also have the ability to work very independently. So we wanted to see some works that you have done perhaps by yourself. You took the initiative to do something, maybe a photography project. You took your camera out there and done a selection of images about a theme, a subject, and you present those in some ways because of you decided to do it in that way. So those type of things are really good to see in fine art portfolios. But you can include a range of practices, so not just one only practice or one only thing. You can do drawings, photography, paintings, sculptures, installations, films, performance, animations, you know, anything that you have done in the past could be included as part of your fine art portfolio. So a great variety of things that you can add in there. The next one that we are going to cover, I believe, is the architecture, graphic design, advertising, and illustration portfolio. So those ones, again, one of the things that is super important on those courses is your observational drawing skills. We wanted to see that in your portfolio. So be sure that you select, again, what we mentioned earlier, your best observational drawing pieces and put them in your portfolios. You need to show those ones. Also, any typography or font design project that you've done or that you experiment with will be good. Any graphic design in general or illustrations that you have in the past, that you've done in the past. Video graphics and image text manipulation is also very good to see that how you manipulate images, how you work with those ones, and any interactive media, especially nowadays, you know, anything that is interactive, we wanted to see that if you have done anything like that in the past. But the main things is whatever you present in a graphic design or advertising or illustration portfolio is that you are able to demonstrate through those pieces of work that you have a really good understanding, and you are able to demonstrate that you understand very well the rules of composition. Okay, you need to be able to show lines, color, space, text, form, scale. So anything like that is really, really, really important. So consider all the pieces of work you're going to present and check out how you work with the composition before you present, you choose that piece of work as a part of your portfolio. Okay, and the next one is going to be, I believe, architecture. Yeah, architecture and interior design portfolios. So show spatial awareness, basically, really, really important that we see, if possible, some 3D sculptures, if you have any that you done as projects in school. You will also have some model construction, conceptual models, and any observational sketches that you have are really, really relevant, from buildings, interiors, man-made structures, natural forms as well. So anything like that will be good. Obviously, photography also, you can add some pieces of photography on your portfolio, and digital skills. So we need to see if you work already with some softwares, with some programs. That will be good if you have any work like that for us to see it in architecture and interior design. Again, in architecture and interior design portfolios, very similar, but at the same time very different. So check out the guidelines specific for the universities you're looking to apply. And I think that is for me. I think my colleague is going to take over now, or should I continue? Oh no, we got more. Okay, so animation, coding, and games portfolio. Those programs are super important to look at things, again, similar to the film one: storytelling, narrative, composition, very important. Sequencing, we wanted to see that you are able to work on the sequence of your pieces of work. Storyboarding, script writing, and the sound and image. So the post-production, it's also very, very important. So anything like that, you need to be sure that you present it on your portfolio, and it will be good to see, again, a variety of things. But don't forget, the same that we mentioned on the film ones, don't forget the research part and the written work as well. If you got any for your pieces of work, that will be really good. The next one, let me see if we got more. Craft and product design portfolios. Those ones, again, are very specific. So any model making, anything that you have designed or create through model making will be really good to see. But we wanted to see also how you apply the application of the process, basically. How do you develop that work, that idea from the moment you design, into how you select the materials you're going to use to create that piece. How do you draw that piece beforehand and design it before you actually create it from model making? Things like that are really, really important. So any test, any experimentation, any prototypes that you do, maybe you haven't done a final piece, but you got some prototypes of your ideas, that will be really good that you present them on your portfolio. Idea development, super important. And obviously, how you understand the materials you are working with as well. So you've done your research on those materials, how they're going to be, what are the qualities of those materials, why you decide to use one material instead of another, things like that, also very important. And the next slide.
Should we hand over to Natasha?
Natasha, yeah.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Thanks, Maria. Super. I'm a little conscious of the time, so I will rush quickly through these final subject-specific slides. But as Maria and Felicity have already said, it is very, very important to check the university websites. For this subject area in particular, I would say for management, marketing and promotion. For example, at Birmingham City University, we don't ask for portfolios for our management courses within fashion or our management courses within arts. So definitely check on each university website. But for those universities who are asking for portfolios for this subject area, obviously it's not a strictly design course. So you want to think about what areas you can include from your market research, for example, questionnaires and interviews you've done with people for your marketing research, but also including elements of your photography and styling for those ones. Onto the media and journalism courses. Again, these elements that cross over slightly into more text-based, more research-based, so your interviews are very important. For media, if you have any experience outside of school where you've created blogs, if you've got your own website, if you vlog, if you have YouTube videos, or if you do TikToks or Vimeos, include them in your portfolio in some way. You can embed videos. Obviously it's a digital portfolio. You can include links to your Google Drive or whatever platform, Dropbox, that you have with your content on there, links to your website, screenshots of your videos, so that we can see what kind of content you're already producing and view your work in that way. And next up we have photography. So again, this is quite similar to what we've mentioned before for things like graphic design and illustration, in terms of seeing your process, seeing your research. We want to see your technical skills in photography. So show us examples of different ways you've taken your photographs, different techniques you've used, your editing process. So take screenshots and include those images of when you're doing your editing. Something that we've seen before, which is quite interesting, is students taking a video of when they're doing their editing, sort of on like a speed loop, so that we can see the process in fast time, which is a good idea, something that would definitely make your portfolio stand out. And again, some sketchbook work to show us your other skills. Next up, we have performance. So obviously performance is going to be much more about recording yourself. These kind of subjects will have very, very specific requirements from the specific institutions. So I know we've said it many, many times, but I would say that it's even more important for these ones, because often you might have an audition where they'll ask you to pick from a selected list of monologues or a selected list of pieces that you need to record yourself doing. But generally they will ask you to do a couple of monologues to camera, one from different periods, so maybe one classic one contemporary one. They may ask you for a resume of your performances, but it's very, very important that the sound quality is good. Obviously, if you're submitting a monologue and we can't really hear you, it's going to be quite difficult to judge everything. So please make sure you've got good audio quality. Next up, we have our music courses. Again, these will vary quite a lot from institution to institution, whether or not they ask you for an audition for them, or if it's more of a production course as opposed to a music performance course. So again, check the requirements, but we would be looking for examples of any work you've composed yourself already. Talk about your interests, share your passions. We want to see your journey. As I think Felicity said at the beginning, your portfolio is you on paper or on a digital file, as it is with international students. So it needs to have an expression of your personality, your passions, and what potential you have, how we can help you develop through the course. So that stands out for all portfolios, really. Okay, finally, we've got a couple of slides left, just tips in general for digital portfolios. As international students, this is what you will be submitting most of the time. So there's a few really key parts. Firstly, accurate photographs. Please make sure your photographs show your work well. Make sure they're clean, make sure there's no bad lighting, make sure they're not in the dark, make sure you've got those good photographs. And everyone's got great phones at the moment, so you don't need a fancy big camera, you can just use your iPhone, but make sure that it's clear and it shows off your work to the best of your ability. Your work should be put into a PDF. Oh, can you go back? Thanks. Your work should be in a PDF, ideally, with notation. We won't get to ask you questions about it, so we will be reading your text to find out exactly where the piece came from. And be critical. I think Maria said before, please include pieces that went wrong. Tell us what you don't like about your pieces, because it shows that self-reflection and your critical skills. And then the last slide about video content. So if you've got any content that's not in English, please try and add subtitles or give us a general overview of what it's about. It might be great, but if our lecturers don't speak your language, that it'll be hard for them to understand what's going on. If you're sending us website links, please make sure they work. It sounds like a really silly piece of advice, but we get so many links to drop boxes which are not available to be shared with the public, so you need to change your settings on those. If you do tap websites, please give us the passwords, but ideally make it easy for our lecturers to get to your work. And that is about it. So I think we have contact details on the next slide. Thank you all for joining us today. I really hope you found the presentation useful. On my part, you're more than welcome to contact me for any further information, and our academics at BCU are more than happy to set individual meetings with students to review portfolios before you apply. And I'm sure Maria and Felicity will share their details with you as well. But thank you everyone.
Thanks, guys. So there is another session starting just now. So there's the creative business and marketing session and the fine art and photography session starting as well, which students, if you wanted to go to those, please do hop out of this room and jump into the other one. You find all those links on your email or on the Eventbrite page. But if any of you would like to stay and ask us some more questions, you're more than welcome to. You can either put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask us a question or raise your hand, whatever you would like to do.
And there's a couple of questions already in the chat, Felicity, we can maybe go through. One from Nicholas about architecture courses. If we include media, then it's not directly related to the course, but still a creative expression of our hobbies, will it hold any less weight? Like Felicity said at the beginning, we want to see about 70% related to your subject area. So the other 30% can be other things. So yes, definitely include elements that you're passionate about, that show your creativity, that show your skills in different areas, because we want to find out about you. So yeah, definitely include those as well, but make sure the majority, so that 70%, is still linked to architecture or whatever your subject area is.
Fab, thank you. And we had a question about editorials. So I'm going to assume that's quite marketing and magazine and journalism focused. Yeah, absolutely. Throw those in. That's definitely the kind of thing that we would love to see. Remember, you know, we say 70% needs to be related to your course, but there's so much that can relate to your program. You know, even sketchbooks for things like photography relate to your program because it shows us your understanding of the world around you. So please don't think, oh, because I'm doing film, it has to have 70% of it has to be film, has to be moving images. there's so many things that are related to film and surrounding it that will be a perfect addition for your portfolio. Okay, so Chewan has asked, so please can you clarify what you mean by 5 to 6 projects in 16 to 20 pages? So I talked for ages about this. Do you guys want to explain how you expect projects for undergraduate portfolios?
Yeah, I can. I mean, it's fairly similar, Felicity, to what you said before. So 16 to 20 pages would be the length of the portfolio in general. How many pages are in your PDF? 5 to 6 projects, because again, as Felicity mentioned before, we're not looking for finished pieces. We don't want 20 finished pieces. So 5 to 6 projects would look maybe like each project could be 4 or 5 pages, where you take us through the research of that project, your conceptualization of ideas, your brainstorms, your sketchbooks, how that project evolved. And at the very end, you might show us the final piece, but I would iterate again what Felicity said, in that the final piece is probably the least important thing to our academics, because they're looking for the process, they're looking to see how you can reflect, how you can comment on your own work and how you think about things. So yeah, that's how that fits in with the 20 pages. Maria, I don't know if yours is any different.
No, totally. You covered it all, Natasha. I mean, the only thing I will say is that don't you guys kind of block yourself just thinking I have to present 20 pages on one portfolio and I have to fill those 20 pages with any other work that I can think of just to fill 20 pages, because maybe you only got work for 15 pages in a portfolio and that is the best work that you want to present. Maybe you only got 3 full projects that you done from the idea to the development of the idea, the research and everything else. And that may be 15 pages, 5 pages each project, 3 projects in total. And that is fine. It's about the quality, not the quantity. So don't block yourself thinking, oh, it has to be 20 pages because I attend a presentation where they told me it has to be 20 pages. That's not the case, you know, just this is just some general guidelines for you to give you an idea, because sometimes the students don't know whether they need to put 50 pages or 20, and that's just a guideline for you. So but don't block yourself just on that. If it's less, that's fine also.
I think we've had a question that has literally asked exactly what you've just answered. So I'm sorry, I'm going to say your name wrong, but Soraba, I do apologize. I think Maria's just answered mostly what you've asked, but yeah, we understand that you probably have not studied what you want to do at university in high school. There are many countries in the world where you get to like 14 and you cannot do any more formal art and design education. And we are not going to judge you and we are not going to be harsh with you just because you have not been able to do that in school. So this is why we keep talking about everybody's portfolio is a representation of them. And we don't expect a standardization. So yeah, your work is your work. If you can't fill 20 pages, don't fill it just for fun. Just make sure it's your best work included in the pages that you do send to us. Okay, all right, students, I'm just going to put our contact details in the chat as well for you. Do you guys want to tell all the students here when you're doing your individual sessions, Natasha and Maria?
Yes, that's a very good question. Maria?
Yes, I will be taking part on another session later on today for the general one about AUB, and then on Thursday I will be covering the sessions for fashion. So those of you interested in fashion, I hope to see you there, and also the architecture and interior design one also on the Thursday morning. So I'm hoping to see many of you in there. Thank you so much for taking part on this event, and I hope it was useful for all of you.
My session, so if you want to learn more about Birmingham City University, you can join us tomorrow, Tuesday at 10 AM UK time. I'll also be taking part in the Creative Game and Computing session at 9 AM tomorrow, and on Wednesday, the Graphic Design and Communication session. So hopefully more of you will be able to join us there as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. And our UCA session is going to be at 10 a.m, which is in 48 minutes. And then I'm also going to be in the fashion textile session tomorrow, and one of the careers presentations tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much, students. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Maria. Please get in contact if you need anything. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.